Alright, so same thing on the other side here. We're going to first flip this out, and I just want to show you here. So if we just try and pull this up, this side is going to start trying to smack in here, and eventually it just pops this right out of the hinge, right up here, in here. It'll pop it right out of there. And it doesn't have a pin going through it, so that's not a big deal, but eventually it could be worn out and damaged. And that's just no fun. And fold it out. Fold this in and flop it back down. Booyah. Alright, this part is actually a lot easier. I mean, like, exponentially easier. It's ridiculous. This just slides in and out. It's not loose, or super loose rather, but it's not as tight as the legs are, where you have to like push in on these spring-loaded tabs to remove them. You can actually just pull these straight out without fear of damaging or breaking anything, which is nice, because that would have been obnoxious to have to constantly worry about that. On this side as well, I'm going to put it in all the way. And yeah, there we go. This guy is all set. And he is monstrous. He is enormous. I mean, like, he's gargantuan. He's monolithic. He's freaking epic. Oh my god, man. I have been waiting to finish this guy for so long. I did forget one little thing. This is his chest plate that we, I'm not sure if I showed this at the very beginning or not. It was on his trailer, but I don't think I quite showcased it. These little tabs, you know, it's got a bunch of hinges everywhere for different configurations, but to just go on the chest, you know, I like to have this folded out, arched out a little bit, and then it's got 2 tabs here for friction joints and then a little peg. Best way to get it on is to do the peg last. So get it in at, there's like 2 slots here, and then the peg goes right in there, this peg. And so just line it up. You line it up, start pushing in a little bit. This guy is freaking huge. And you know, just start pushing in. I like to line up the top, get that in first, and then attempt to push in the bottom, and that way it does help with the friction to keep it on there. Would have been nicer if there was another way to help secure it, but I mean, it does work very well. I have had no other problems with it. Once it's on there, and it ain't coming off. Yes, sir. Okay. These little missile pods, I just put them in the back. Back here on these little back waist flaps. You can put them wherever you feel like. I personally just put them back here for storage. It just makes it easier so I don't lose them. And I mean, it just adds a little more bulk on his ass, I guess. Gives him that side ass. Yeah. That's hot. Bruticus is packing. Alright. Cool. So after we attach his extra rocket junk, then we will show off his gun. His BFG. Big friggin' gun. This is a really cool gun. Alright, so awesome. There we go. He is a beast. I do normally like to have him in at least this kind of supported A stance. But yeah, while we got him here, you know, his mobility, and he's got pretty much any kind of mobility that any other figure would have. He's got full arm rotation. So joints do get a little in the way when you have them at that angle, but you can move his shoulders up and down from this peg and also from the interior connector peg port right in there. The arms go all the way around 360. You can fold them in and out from the connector peg on Whirlwind or in the shoulder connector peg. There are, I believe, 3 settings. The uppermost one, though, does pop this top panel up a little bit. That's not a problem, I actually don't mind that at all. You know, some people may. It's not a big deal, really isn't. Yeah, you see that this foot is coming up. I normally like to, you know, deploy that. Oh my god, that sounds awful. Sounds like it's gonna shatter at any moment. But I love my ankle tilts, man. It really just makes the figure that much better. So if it's gonna break, it can go ahead and break, because it's not really bothering this guy. He's not sliding. I mean, it would have been nice, but he's got the other ratchets to help support his ass. His big old ass. And then, yeah, with the new Airburst chest, or rather blast off chest, this guy's ratcheted joints up here are fantastic. This little purple piece can't get in the way. I folded it in, but that does hamper his movement, so then I'll just strictly be relying on Bruticus's actual shoulder connector port to move it up and down, in and out, and things of that nature. It's not too big of a problem. Let's get his big freaking gun. This thing is sweet. Now, you know, it being the size that it is, there are so many different configurations and things, and you can even pull off this handle and you know, fold in that peg. There's another peg down in here if you would like, and you can put it actually right here. This is how it actually comes when you get the gun out of the box. But because of the issue with mine being a little loose, I actually prefer it, 1, to be on the top, and 2, I just think that looks better. For some reason or another, that just appeals to me for whatever reason. It's just, I like it. I think the bigger barrel should be on the top. I don't know. That's just how I feel. I'm just like, dude, that big barrel should be on the top. Inside his hands, he's got 2 holes instead of slots for holding the gun. And you can have him hold it in a deeper set palm hold, or you can have him hold it a little higher up, depending on how much clearance you're going to need him, depending on which forearm and things of that nature. It's nice that they did include a secondary hole just in case you know, you had more kibble on the arm, depending on the mode that you use and such. But since he has plenty of clearance with the configuration of this gun and the way that I have his forearm, I'm going to put it in the second further inner hole. That will assist in having more stability, and it allows him to wrap more of his fingers around the hilt. His big old damn. Let me get it. Oh yeah. Get your thumb over the gun. Moving right along. Next thing that I would like to go ahead and show, now that we have them all put together, as you can see, he's very imposing. I mean, he's just looking monstrous, and I just want to go ahead and show his posability. This can tuck in on the inner shoulder here, but it gets in the way when you try and use the shoulder joints to position it in different areas in the connector shoulder area part for Onslaught's connector port. So I just keep this up and out of the way. I mean, it doesn't really get noticed that much as it is, so it's not that bad. I did go ahead and I did replace the ratchet, the inner ratchet piece, the plastic part that was given. We get one for each side with the order of fierce attack, and I already went ahead and did the replacement on his left foot. Now, I did notice something when putting it in, and I'm sorry that I didn't get to record it and show it while I was doing it, but it's pretty straightforward. There are 3 screws that are here on this outside of the foot, and you just unscrew those and split it apart. It's very simple. And then there's 1 screw holding in that translucent piece that acts as just it's just a stationary piece that has a lot of resistance, and there's like a little raised tab area which gives you the resistance for the ratcheting. And you're not gonna be able to really see it, but I'll go ahead and at least tip it. Move his foot forward. Might be able to see it a little better on it, but it is right in here. So when going to put it in, I did notice the first one that was in there was like tightened in all the way, like super tight. And I think that tightness also does add to the fact that it just had too much strain on it. It didn't have any kind of give whatsoever. So that, you know, combined with how brittle that translucent plastic is, just added to it just snapping. And what I ended up doing was, when I went to go put it in, I did tighten it, but not all the way, like as tight as all these other screws all over the figure would normally be. I do have it loosened maybe like a good 2 or 3 twists to the loosey-goosey side, and that will assist, I do believe, in giving it a little give. So when the ratchets go to click, it's not going to just have all that resistance up against the wall of the foot, and it should allow it to just have a little bit of give, so that it's not constantly having that much pressure on it. Hopefully that'll allow it to last a little longer. I guess only time is going to tell, and you know, I'll keep people posted up to date on some forums and stuff. I'll let you guys know in the future if it does end up snapping or not, after, you know, several other playtimes and such. But right now, you know, it does work really good. It has a good snap to it. They're very solid, and I really do enjoy them. They allow for some very wide set poses. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to show off his posability from the bottom to the top. So I'm going to just get these arms up and out of the way. And this is just for the first ratcheted click, he can get to that far of an A stance. It's pretty impressive. It's really nice. And I want you guys to take in mind that this is without the felts. I did go ahead and get these out and prepared, and I'm going to install them and also show how much better his the grip resistance is with these felts. But as you can see, even without them, and I mean, I'm not lying, they're right here. They have not been even placed on this yet. It's a pretty smooth surface, so if he was going to slide, he'd be doing it right now. But with all the weight and with the inclusion of these inner ankle tilt ratchets, he's very solid. He's not sliding anywhere. He's not doing any splits. See, just then his ratchets started to go out on that one leg. But these are really tight, and you know, unless you force them to move, that's when he starts to start giving out. Yeah, just the overall weight. He can only go so far before he starts just buckling under his own weight, unfortunately. But yeah, he can do straight-on splits. His ratchet, or his posability allows for that, if that's something that you're into. Because of his weight, he really can't do any kind of craziness, any crazy kicks, but I'm sure with some patience and overall positioning of the weight, he would be able to maybe do like a Van Damme kick, if I got it just right. But that would take a lot of fine-tuning and trying to counterweight some stuff. There goes the back cannons. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's possible. I just gonna take a little bit. But as you can see, his legs are they're really strong ratchets. I mean, they're gonna hold on their own. It takes a lot for them to move. You actually have to put some pressure in there. And for such a heavy figure, I mean, he's not like extremely weighted or anything. He doesn't have any die cast in him. This is all plastic, but he's still pretty hefty. He's got a good weight to him, no doubt. But I'm sure if I messed around with positioning of the arms and took off the gun and things, he probably could get into a Van Damme kick. I'm just not going to go all out and try and do that with this video. I might be able to post some pictures later in the future showing if he would be able to do that or not, but that'll be on my own time, and I already know that this video is getting way too long, so I do apologize for that. I'm going to do what I can to shorten it up, but there's just a lot of information that I do want you guys to be aware of before getting into it. But yeah, I was thinking about doing a drop test. You know, I've already paid way too much money on this guy, so that's probably not something that I'm going to do, but I will do just a minor just hold test, and then maybe like a small shake test just to show you. But here's just holding from his waist. As you can see, really strong, tough, hefty ratchets. I'm shaking him pretty good. And that's holding him right at the waist. I'm not holding anything else. And as you can tell, his ratchets, you know, they're holding up very good on their own. I mean, those are some really strong ratchets. He's got a lot of good quality stuff going on for him, and I'm very impressed with what they've done here. It's a really nicely put together figure. I'm very pleased with it. I can't wait till they finish up with Computron. Alright, so I did go ahead, I showed you just some of his hip joint ratchets. So I show you some knee bend. These waist flaps do flap up. They're on a ball joint, I believe. So you can bend them in several different manner. You can fold them all the way up so that you can give him room for his knees. They can go up one click. Unfortunately, the thighs do get in the way. So you can get up to about right there. His knees do bend about that much. I'd say about 90 degrees. So his leg can't come up too much. He's got a better side kick than he would a straight on, you know, Spartan kick, unfortunately. His knee bend is awesome. It's a good, pretty much every single ratchet or every single joint in him is a ratcheted joint, and they are super strong. I mean, let me pull this out of the way. I have not seen many other ratchets have, or many other combiners have such strong ratchets as this one. I mean, they are like really tough. You have to actually put a good amount of strength to get them to do it. I mean, there's in no way going to be a time where this guy's going to lose a pose on its own. Like, you're going to have to adjust it yourself. I mean, that's just his knee. You can come up to there. It's going to get you, you know, and it can even keep going from here. Gives you well over 90 degrees. Almost like a double jointed knee. With solid ratcheting all the way. Very impressive. One thing to note, when messing around with Brawl's knee, he does attempt to become distransform, or untransform rather, and like his hands like to try and slide up and out of the tank. So when you go to mess around with his knees, just keep that in mind. Can be a little fiddly there, but I mean, me personally, I'm not really going to be putting him in a lot of, I'm not going to really be messing around with his knees. They're really strong. Really cool. Same thing with here on Swindle. But he's got a lot of great ratchets for all kinds of dynamic poses. I mean, it's without a doubt one of the more stable large combiners that we've gotten to date, without a doubt. Just don't want to mess around with him too much, but there we go. It's a little over 90. I believe there is one more click. Yep. So I'd say almost like a 45, not 45, like of a little over 90, so like 120 degree ratcheted knee bend, giving you everything you could ever want, really. I mean, if you want him to be in a monstrous throne, you could do it. He could definitely sit down. His arms, they do a full 360. Unfortunately, because of all the kibble and stuff on the actual torso, like I said, you know, at the very beginning with Onslaught, he's got a lot of problems with clearance issues and things of that nature, and that even applies here in the combined form, more so with Blast Off. You know, if I tuck this in, this wouldn't bump into anything, and if I didn't have these wings on the forearms, they probably wouldn't bump into anything either. But then, you know, as I said, if I tuck this in, then I won't be able to do that, where I can raise the shoulder up to about 2 clicks, go back down, and then it would also hamper the actual combiner peg ratcheting, which can go out 1, because if this is tucked in, then you can't have it go out at all, and that kind of sucks. I prefer the movement in the arms over all the other movement, that or any aesthetic really. Personally, you know, playing games, having the arms move is the most important part for me anyway. That's the most important. The elbow, it depends on the way you have it set it up. If you have it flipped around, you can even have almost like a double jointed elbow, but the way that I have it set, I just mainly use the ratcheted hips for elbow movement. It doesn't really get 90 degrees, it gets a little bit less. Got 2 clicks of ratchets before it bumps into here. If I had the wings out of the way, probably would have gotten a little bit more. Have to move this waist flap up and get 3 without the wings in the way. And that gives you about 90 degrees of movement right there. You can get those all out of the way. I don't know. I wish there was a better way to store all these extra accessories around the combiner in a way that wouldn't create so much kibble and things of that nature. But it's okay. I mean, worst comes to worst, I can always just put it to the side. That's something that I was attempting to avoid. I also wanted to showcase, you know, him with everything that came with mostly all of these figures just on him. I'm gonna go ahead and put the cannon back now that we're done messing around with the legs. Sorry about that, guys. Over here, Vortex actually has some of these stronger, less hampered movement. You can do a full 360 there on the shoulder. He's got, you know, the shoulder movement on the combiner port on the Onslaught side, and then he's also got his own. He can go out 2 versus Blast Off's just 1 click out from the combiner port. Vortex just has a little bit more room inside of the cavity where the combiner port is. Alright. And then he also has his elbow movement, which is, again, less hampered. Blast Off's just got more kibble and such. But the way he's set up, he's got, you know, that lower bend at the knee, which gives him also sort of a double jointed elbow. And again, because of the way that he's transformed and everything, he's got all this kibble and stuff. But as you can tell from right here, I don't even have to really worry about him falling. He's even leaning back, and I'm not worried at all that he's going to fall. And he could even keep going, really, and he's still going to hold himself. Just put my hand there just in case. Really strong feet, ratchets. I mean, they hold a lot of this weight, and I'm very curious to see how long that they end up holding up for the years to come. But he's extremely stable. I mean, even if he does start to tip back, he typically starts falling in slow motion, you know. But yeah, his posability and movement and shoulder, arms, everything is just as good as a lot of, you know, masterpiece figures. Except he's like over twice their size, so it's magnificent. It's incredible. I really dig it. It's very impressive. I like it. I can go ahead and show off these back cannons there. Let me just take these off real quick, extend them all the way. It's just a little easier than extending them while it's on the combiner. While possible, just a nuisance. I don't want to have it fall over or anything. But yeah, while it's on the back, fully extended, you can set the cannons forward, have them shooting at aircraft flying overhead, or shooting at a wall in front of them, or an enemy that's got them by the neck. Something like that. I mean, however you want it, whatever you're doing for playtime or what have you, it's typically how we end up using it. It's really cool though. I really, really like this guy. He's really awesome. Lots of fun. Okay. And I know what a lot of people are probably thinking, you know, why not just get a TFC figure or, you know, any other combiner if you're going to be playing with it. And that's very debatable, you know. Personally, I went for Warbotron because, one, the aesthetic look, you know, I wanted something that we could play with, me and my son, but I also wanted something that was badass, that was just incredibly awesome looking. And I don't know, to me, TFC just looks a little simplistic. It's not really that good. Just something about the aesthetics just don't appeal to me like Warbotron does. They just hit all the right spots for me. And I feel like at the rate that they're going and improving on their stuff with, they're going to be the go-to company, at least for me, as far as combiners go, hands down. I mean, without a doubt. These guys are doing combiners good, and they're knowing exactly where to go and what to do. Alright, folks. So I went ahead and I did put on the felts onto the bottoms of the feeties. The feeties have got the felts. As you can see, the reason I cut them in half, mainly it's supposed to follow the seam of the shoe or the foot, just in case I end up having to remove them for future fixes with the inner ankle tilts. I'm hoping it doesn't come to that. What I'm going to do is probably just leave them in these just one-click tilt out for the duration of this guy's life. But as you can see here, the felts really add to the stability. I mean, he is not he's like got a lot of resistance now as far as like moving, and with that extra added resistance, he is even more stable. It's fantastic. And I did also forget to show this. His massive gun, while it does add some more weight to the shoulder, he is able to carry it. Does make him lean a little bit more forward, but he is able to hold it with either arm. As you can see here, it does adds a lot of weight to him, but he can still stand without a problem. But that gun is super heavy. For some reason or another, he does hold it a lot better with his Vortex arm. The ratchets here are a little stiffer, and just works out better. I had to replace the torso in my blast off, and then even after replacing it, the initial combiner port that was in this one, they put some machine oil to help keep it from being super stiff, I suppose. And while it did help keep it from being super stiff, it also made it a lot looser, to the point where it wouldn't even let him hold up his arm. So what I ended up having to do was I pulled it out, and I combined the piece that connects into the arm from the old blast off to the inner piece of the combiner peg from the other one. So it had pieces, the ratcheted pieces with the machine oil with unoiled peg, and the combination of the two definitely helped, you know, give it that ratchet, keep it from squeaking obnoxiously, and allowing him to hold up his arm pretty nicely. So I was very content with that. It works, but you know, with the weight of this massive gun, it does make him lean forward a little bit. Next, what I want to show before we get into all the comparisons is I do have here Afterburner in his combined mode, his limb mode, and I just wanted to show, since they have the same combiner mechanisms, it works interchangeably. It's not quite like Scramble City, like with the Combiner Wars figures, however, it does allow you to do it to an extent. And I'll show you that right now. I know we've already seen pictures, but I just wanted to show in this video that it is possible, just in case some people didn't see the pictures. I'm not going to go all out and, you know, put a hand on it and everything, but it does work. I did notice, though, and I'm not sure if you can tell just from the video alone, Afterburner is actually a little bit longer. Kind of hard to tell without the hand on it, but when it is fully extended, he is a little longer. But it looks really cool, and I like that the combining system that they use allows it to become interchangeable to a point where it's almost Scramble City. So you can mix up, you know, arms with other arms and legs with other legs. That's neat. I really do like that. It's a nice touch. But here we go. I'm going to go ahead and get into some comparison shots right now. I'm going to show... Hold on just a moment. The ankle tail on this one did undo itself. Yeah, the ankle tilts, if you start to straighten up his legs, they like to tilt back into their original positions fairly easily. And I did want to keep it out at least one click for that good a power stance. But yeah, here he goes with Superion Combiner Wars. He's a lot bigger, as you can tell, but it's still pretty neat. And just a moment, here he is with Microblaze Creations Bruticus from Fall of Cybertron's set of Combaticons. I was so excited to get this one. He looks a little different. He does have some pieces that came with the X-Transbots Boosticus set, the all-black one. I did keep those pieces. Also some extra armament on Swindle. I did keep those to help bulk out his shoulders and make him look a little better. And I thought it looked really nice because of the tail on here and the nose cone on the blast off were a little lacking. But he looks really good with them. And the fact that I got both of these now kind of makes me want to go get the Fans Project Bruticus, but that one's like so tiny that I don't really know. The size alone kind of keeps me from wanting to get him. Not to mention that he's still like another $200 to $300 depending on who you get him from. Here he is with Masterpiece Shockwave, or Fans Project Quakewave rather. Looks outstandingly cool with another Decepticon. And I mean, say what you will, you know, some people scoff at anyone that says that this is masterpiece scale. You know, they say that there's no way, blah blah blah. I mean, yeah, if he was maybe like an inch or two taller, that would be even better. It would probably fit a lot better. But I mean, even at the height that he's at now, I think that that's a really nice size for Masterpiece. I'm gonna bring in a few more Masterpieces to show you how he scales with them. Here he is with old Prowl. Prowl on the prowl. Here we go with side swipe. He's swiping and make some room for Optimus. There he is, scaling with Optimus Prime. Just get out of the shot quickly. You've had your chance. You need to share some of the glory. Yeah, there he goes, man, and he looks really good with masterpieces. I mean, personally, I think this looks great. This is an awesome scale, especially with the cars and such. I think that's about right. I don't know. You know, if he was maybe an inch taller, it wouldn't hurt anything. But the fact that he's not, I mean, this looks pretty good. Looks like to be a really nice scale for Masterpiece. So here he goes with some Dinobots. See how they scale. Here goes Grimlock. And yeah, I mean, again, they scale pretty nicely. I mean, obviously Grimlock should be probably up to here. You know, a little bigger Grimlock wouldn't hurt. But they look good, man. I really like this scale. This Masterpiece scale is fantastic. And these are his little platform boots. I normally have my Dinobots in robot mode. I'm one of those guys. A little weird, I guess. But yeah, I just like the robot modes more personally. But I did figure that I'd show them in this Dino modes just so you could see it. And it scales pretty nicely. I mean, it really does not look bad at all. Alright, get these fellas out of the way. And now I'm going to show just a couple of classics figures. I didn't have my entire collection with me. At the moment. But here he goes with the aerial bots. So you can see how he scales with the classic size figures. And to be honest, I mean, this looks a little better. I'm not gonna lie. It does look better. It's more fitting and proper that he be about that much bigger. That's why I said, you know, if this Warbotron Bruticus was in fact a little bit larger by like say an inch or two, it would be perfect, I think. If it was 3 or 4 inches taller, maybe okay, but would start be getting into that a little too large area, I think. But there are, you know, some people that are enthusiasts of super enormous robots, and I mean, they're cool, but I also like my bots to be practical too. And if they start getting insanely stupid giant like Generations Metroplex, it's almost difficult to have any kind of playtime with them. They're nice to put on a detail for a shelf, but you know, that's about it. It's hard to play with stuff like that. And here he is with Make Toys Hypernova, or I mean, we can just say get rid of the formalities and, you know, just call him, you know, Nova Prime. There he is with Nova Prime. I did at least bring along one of my favorite classic size figures, because this guy is just incredible. So awesome. And yeah, he looks fantastic with all these dudes. I mean, it looks really, really nice with classics figures. I mean, this fits whichever scale you decide to collect. If you're a Masterpiece collector, you know, this could fit very well. It's not perfect by any means, but it does look very nice. If you're a classics collector, this is gonna fit a little better for your collection. And yeah, but in this instance, you know, Warbotron, the scale that they did choose to go with, it's almost in a position to almost double dip. with the way that it fits with both scales, and I think that was a very good strategic move. If they did it on purpose. If it was an accident, well, then it was a great accident for them because it worked out. I mean, this appeals to two different levels of collectors, and that's just great. That's fantastic. So this is what matters most, obviously. What do you think, Jack? Is he awesome?
Yeah, I dig it. I really dig it.
You really, really dig it?
Mm-hmm.
It is pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a wrap.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, guys, so here are my final thoughts. Would I recommend buying this set? If you got the means, you know, and you're an actual fan of Bruticus, and you like this aesthetic look of him, this take, then definitely, wholeheartedly, most definitely get this set. There are some tolerance issues, some things that aren't perfect, but you know, again, there is not one figure that's out that is 100% perfect. And if you're looking to get a incredibly great sized combiner that can hold his weight, do all kinds of different poses, the playability on this thing is insane. A lot of features on this thing, just awesome paint apps, just everything about this thing is incredible. Definitely get it. If you're only looking to get pieces of them, then my recommendation is definitely go for Swindle. He's probably one of the strongest characters in this set. I personally have an emotional tie to Brawl here. That was my first Transformer ever when I was a child. But, you know, he has his limited shoulder articulation, all kinds of stuff. If you see other people's reviews, you know, I do recommend checking out some from other reviewers. I might not be doing the other figures. Brawl's really awesome though. I think he's probably one of the stronger other characters, and that's my opinion, of course. You know, other people are going to disagree. And then I would also recommend Onslaught. You know, if you're just going to get any figures, to just have them as a standalone. Onslaught comes with a whole bunch of different things, accessories, and there's just a lot of playability and posability and just, I mean, all kinds of different ways you could set him up. And he's really big, he's a lot of fun, he can tote around other figures. If you're looking to just pose him, he looks awesome, he's outstanding. He comes up to about just almost at Optimus's like chest. He's a really big, really nice figure. For this entire set, you know, it is a little expensive. Like I said, if anything were to break on this guy, I'd have to improvise and find a way to fix it myself or go and get a KO, because there is no way that I would be buying another one of these guys at full price. It's just really expensive. A little too much out of my price range to have to go and get another one if that were the case. But I don't think that's going to happen. He's really solid, well built. I'm going to have to give him an 8. As far 8 out of 10. He's really good, but you know, there's just a lot of little tolerance issues. You know, certain little things like the screw being stripped out on this gun, just small little things that are disappointments that don't 100% ruin the figure. I mean, as you can see, it still pegs in, it's still nice. You know, we came with replacement parts for that inner ratchet tilt, and if we had gotten something solid and that was never an issue, this thing would be a 10 out of 10, man. If this thing did not have, like, I could live with the little stripped out screw, I can't live with this inner ankle tilt breaking. You know, this is like a really big thing that can help with the stability of this figure. If that goes, this guy could, I mean, he holds his ground well. I even showed a little footage of him having the broken ankle tilt and still holding poses and stuff, but it's not what you end up paying hundreds and hundreds of dollars, just a bit more than almost half a grand for, when you include taxes and shipping and everything. This thing is not cheap, and so if I'm paying that much, I understand that nothing's going to be perfect, but it should not have those issues. I hope maybe in the future, you know, someone like Captured Prey or BBTS or some retailer will be able to come out with a replacement part for this inner ratchet tilt, because I do see these breaking again in the future, and it worries me. It really does. But that was my main focus of worry. And then also, you know, the stress here on these shoulders. But I'm not really that. I mean, I know they're there, but it's not a big deal. It doesn't affect the combined mode at all, especially once you have these back locks latched in. His shoulders aren't going anywhere. He's very solid. I mean, I can shake him around. He's not going to fall. I mean, yeah, obviously, if all his weight goes forward, he's going in this position. If I have him straight up and down, he's not gonna face plant. But yeah, he's very solid. Really good, really awesome looking. I think you should get him. So yeah, thank you very much for tuning in to my very first review. By any means, I know this wasn't perfect, but definitely check out my other stuff. If you have any comments, you know, please leave them in the comment boxes below. If you have any tips, any questions, anything that I can assist you with or that you think you could assist me with, please let me know. If you think I did a good job, please subscribe to, you know, Drozilla and my channel. I do appreciate it, and I do want to continue doing this. Just leave me some feedback, let me know. But thank you very much, you guys. Keep an eye out. I will be doing a video later on, maybe next week it'll be out, or maybe by this weekend for Onslaught. But till next time, thank you very much and take care. Y'all have a good one.
Boing.